Hey, welcome to another episode of the Coffee with Creators podcast. My name is Balasabas. I hope you're doing well. Man, it has been a little bit of a few, maybe a couple weeks, maybe not a few, but a couple weeks since I have uploaded an episode on the podcast. It's been a busy couple of weeks, to be honest. And it's been good though. There's always seasons like this where I'm pretty tied up with projects and conferences and trips and just initiatives that we're working on, and you tend to kind of let go of some of the content that you're creating. That's why it's really important, I think, in my opinion, to have a plan, have batch recording in place so that, you can be consistent and people can, there's new content going out on a regular basis all the time. If you're here, thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. If you're watching the video, you can kind of see me scrambling and typing. I'm trying to log into my Anchor account, but I'm looking at Anchor right now, and I'll show you guys what I see. If you guys are watching this on the video version, then awesome. Then you can kind of see what I'm seeing. If you're not, essentially, I'm looking here on my Anchor account. I haven't logged in probably in a couple weeks, and I do know that Anchor did a rebrand, and it is now called, it says right here, it actually says it right on the page when you go to Anchor and try to log in. Anchor is now part of Spotify for podcasters. It always has been in my mind. It always has been Spotify for podcasters, but for some reason, I guess, they made the official leap into calling it that. So I'm going to get really creative here so that you can see my my mug, my South by Southwest mug. I'm going to try and log in here. Let me see if this works. Yes, it does. Awesome. Okay, so, all right. So we are I'm looking at episode 83. Episode 83 of the podcast. Very exciting. We're getting closer and closer to that big episode 100. The last time that I uploaded or published an episode was February 28th, 2023. It is now March 16th. And so it has been about 2 weeks and 3 days since I last published. Not too bad. I've gone longer without publishing, so this has been really good. All right, cool. So I don't feel as bad. I felt like I haven't uploaded in about a month, but this is good. Cool. So this episode is going to be a bit of a catch-up in pretty much for the most part here. It's just kind of catching up with you. I hope you're doing well. As always, I'd love to hear from you. So send me a DM, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, wherever it may be, any place other than this podcast. It's very difficult for you to comment on this podcast, maybe even Substack if you are subscribed to my Substack. But send me a message. Always love to hear who is, consuming the podcast, who is tuning in. Always love to hear that. Also, want to say thank you to a couple of brands that are always supportive of our podcast here, and also of the YouTube channel and my content. First of all, StreamYard. Thank you for, the support over the years. I actually just recorded a StreamYard tutorial a couple minutes ago. Just finished recording a StreamYard tutorial all about guest destinations. It's a new feature that they've got. I don't want to repeat everything here. Just go check out the new video. It should be going live by the time this podcast is live. That video should also be live as well. And then also Adobe Express. Man, thank you. Mad shout out to Adobe Express. Thank you so much for always supporting creators. I'm part of their ambassador program, and they have been so generous to me. They even got me to go down to LA last year for Adobe Max. Just a great group of people, fantastic community, and just a really cool culture to really support creators in so many ways. So thank you to them. All right, so use Adobe Express and StreamYard. Thank you so much. All right, cool. So what have I been up to lately? The biggest thing is that I've been in Austin, Texas. I was in Austin, Texas for South by Southwest. South by Southwest is a very long conference. It I think goes for 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. And so I feel like there's phases. This was my first year going to the conference. This was my first year actually going to Austin, Texas. I've been to Texas before, but only to Dallas, Texas. And Austin is a much different place. It's a very cool city, very cool vibe. The people are very cool and trendy and hip. Very cool place, honestly. There's a lot of tech happening there. A lot of the tech companies have moved in, set up shop. They've taken up floors and floors at different buildings and high rises for their offices. I was at the Meta office when I was down there because a couple of friends of mine, Jerry Wan and Justin Wen, from the Always Be Creating community, they ran the Asian Creator House at the Meta office in Austin, in downtown Austin. Very cool. Lots of people came down there for that. Went to different houses. So there's different houses at South by Southwest, right? Different companies will set up houses, So for example, Slack will have a house. Canadian creators will have a house. Inc. will have a house. Let's see, Fast Company will have a house. Dolby. I just naming all these big brands, right? They all have houses. Shopify had a house, right? And so you go down there. It's an activation. So essentially, it's like their booth. But instead of having a booth inside the conference, which they probably have, they'll have a house, and that's the booth. Because the whole city, the whole downtown is basically the conference. Wherever you walk, there's people with badges walking around that are attending South by Southwest. And so if you've been to South by Southwest, this is old news to you, but just sharing my experience. It's a really awesome conference. Got to meet a lot of people. I was there for about 4 or 5 days. The highlight of my trip, though, was that we hosted a Uscreen dinner for customers and partners that were in town, that were already local in Austin, or they were in town for either business, some other reason, but mostly for South by Southwest. So we had probably about 30 people, 35, almost 40 people actually RSVP. We had about 25 or so, almost 30 people show up, which is great. It's a great turnout. We went to a place called Denada, and it's this taco restaurant. It's really, really good food. Definitely want to go back when I'm down there. Really well priced as well. I was very surprised at the bill when it came. I was like, oh, this is great. Very under budget for what we were planning to do there. So that was great. And a lot of people got to connect with each other. This just kind of reminds me of, how important community is. I think, no matter what, where you are, I always find as I travel, different places, different cities, and meet different people and entrepreneurs, content creators, people in the industry, in the media industry, and content creation industry. There's this need for people to be connected and to feel connected, to be seen and heard, and to make real, genuine, authentic connections. And I know that those words kind of get thrown out a lot. Those are buzzwords, for most part in different places, and kind of gets overused. But it was just so cool to see. I think that as I travel around and meet all of these people and different people from different walks and backgrounds and different businesses and ventures and careers and experiences, people really just generally, the through line is that people want to connect with other people. They want to connect with people that are like-minded, just like them, kind of going through the same things, so same struggles and same things that they're working on, same projects, people that they're interested in the same things. They're trying to figure out the same things and can relate to them, on a daily basis. It's really hard for the most part. A lot of content creators work in a silo. They work sort of at home. They work at home by themselves, or they work at a coffee shop. And even though you're at a coffee shop and it's busy, there's lots of people sitting around, you don't really get to talk to them. You don't really get to have like deep, meaningful conversations with them. They're just kind of there. They're in the same space, but they're not really connecting with you. Kind of reminds me of a friend of mine that said that, New York is probably one of the most loneliest places in the world. Even though there's people, it's so dense, so populated. People are just walking around, and They're not connecting, with each other. And so anyways, when I got to Austin, we had this dinner. It was just so well received, and everybody was just so happy to be there and so happy to connect with people. And people were exchanging numbers and connecting on Instagram and things like that, and planning to, hey, let's go grab coffee. Let's maybe even collaborate. I mean, business was secondary, to be honest. The first was really the connections, and people really connected. And it was so good to see. People were excited. I'm going to be back in Austin probably at the end of May, and let people know and say, hey, you know what, let's do this again. It's awesome. Let's do this again. It's really well received, and people were like, yeah, let's do this again. When are you going to be back? If you do this again, like, let me know, right? It was so good. It was so good. That's the highlight of my entire trip. The last few days down there in Austin was that meetup, and no secret, I would love to create that for different communities in different cities around content creators. Yes, for Uscreen, of course, for Uscreen. But really content creators, because that will, obviously content creators are our target audience. And so if we can do that and really build a community, the secondary part is, yes, they'll build a membership, they'll build their programs, they'll build their courses, and hopefully, they choose Uscreen. But first part is really connecting and building a community of like-minded people around the same, objectives with their business, right? Which is to create meaningful content that serves their community, and building a recurring revenue that can scale, that can allow them to do the things that they truly want to do. Other projects, reach more people, that passion project that they want to do. They want to write a book. They want to build schools in other countries. They want to do all of these things, right? That's what they are, right? And so it's really exciting. I'm just super excited. I'm super thankful for the people that came out for that event, came out for that dinner and connected. For me, it's such a blessing just to do what I get to do, and call it work. It's just so weird. Every now and then I kind of have to pinch myself and just, hey man, I can't believe this is really what I get to do. Like, this is amazing. I get to make a difference in other people's lives. I get to see them, succeed and be part of their story, even just a little part of their story, be a little role in that story that they're writing, and really walk alongside them is just such a blessing. I think there's nothing better than seeing somebody succeed, and it's just so life-giving, and so I get to see that, and that's just, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm in Austin, I can't believe I'm going to go to, Los Angeles next month. Like, these are just things that, man, I don't know, 10 years ago, like, I would never have thought, could never have dreamed that this is what I get to do. And I get home, and there's just so much energy and so much, man, I can't wait to work. It's just such a weird thing, right? Of course, if you guys know me, you guys know that I take rest very seriously. I take Sabbath very seriously. Saturdays, that's, Sabbath for me and my family. I literally turn off my phone, and I don't do any work, right? It's very important. Very, very important. Rest to me is important. Probably save that for another episode. If you guys have any questions or thoughts around that. But yeah, man, Sabbath to me is like key. It's the key. It's a secret to doing anything. And but man, I'm so excited for work. I'm so excited for Mondays. I'm like one of those guys. It's like, man, I can't wait for Mondays. I think about it, and I'm like, I can't wait to like do that thing, and like really get into that project, really get into that strategy. I can't wait for that call with, my colleagues and that partner. Man, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what they have to say. I have some ideas myself. I can't wait for them to like hear my ideas and like, man, let's like make something really cool happen. And so I don't even know how I got to this topic, but that's that's how these podcasts go. And so that was South by Southwest, and I'm excited to go next year. The other thing that is important to mention if you are thinking about going to South by Southwest is that I actually didn't even have a pass. I just wanted to go first, for a couple of reasons. The top reason is that my colleague and one of the team members on the executive team at Uscreen, Matt Estes, has been to South by Southwest in a previous role, many times, and he says, "Hey Rob, man, just go. You don't need to get a pass. There's so much happening. Just land, reach out to people, and you're gonna have enough to do, more than enough to do." The second is, my goal really wasn't to like sit through different talks and things like that. My goal was to connect with people and just have as many connections and meaningful connections, go for lunch and breakfast and coffee and dinners with different people, and then in between, just like let it naturally happen, different connections happen. And so that's what I did. And honestly, going back, yes, I don't think a pass would have made a difference for me. I had so much, my calendar, if I could show you, I won't, because there's names there that I probably shouldn't be showing on YouTube with different people and partners and stuff. But my calendar was so full. Like literally, I landed on a Thursday night. Traveling from Vancouver to Austin is tricky. You have to go through either Houston or Dallas, and so it's almost a full day of travel. I was very close. Well, actually, when I landed on Thursday night, the first night that I was there, I was very close. My friend Justin Wen and Jerry Wan from the Asian Creator House, they're like, "Hey Rob, like we're just hanging out. You got to come. Just come down to this restaurant. We're just chilling out, having some good food. Just come down." I was like, "Oh man," I was so close, but I was just like, I got to pace myself. I'm not a 21-year-old anymore. Traveling around for work. I got to pace myself. I'm gonna be here for about 4 or 5 days. Hey Justin, my bad. I'd love to come down, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. And so I did see them the first thing in the morning on Friday at the Meta office. But there's so much to do, man. I landed, and then that was Thursday night, Friday all day. From breakfast all the way to like late night in the evening, meetings. Saturday, that's when again, breakfast in the morning, meetings already, and then lunch, and then different talks in different houses, visiting different things, and then we had the meetup, the Uscreen dinner on Saturday night, that then led to me hanging out with a couple other community members out there. Devin, big shout out to Devin Ambron, who's a local Austinite. That's what they call people from Austin, Austinites. And he was down there. He said, "Hey Rob, you got to meet my friend Tim Francis. He's the most well-connected guy here in Austin." So I did. Went down to his condo, spent a couple hours. It was already like 11 or midnight. Spent a couple hours just, having some drinks and just talking. This man was so connected. Probably, I actually will try to have him on the podcast, because the way that he built his network in Austin. He's from Edmonton, I believe, or he's from Alberta. He's a fellow Canadian, but he's been in Austin for several years now, and he knew nobody. And he started doing these dinners every week at his place. 10, a dozen entrepreneurs. He did that for like 100 like 2 years straight or something. And but now he runs these big events. He's got a business as well, an executive assistant business, placement agency. But yeah, I'm gonna have him on the podcast. I'm gonna try and bug him to get him on the podcast and share his story and share his wisdom. There's just so much, going on there. So, and then that was Saturday. Sunday, back at it. Actually, Sunday I went to church. Had lunch on Saturday with Peter Yang, who is co-founder of this company called Oversubscribe. From New York. Got to talking, and I'm like, okay, cool. We had some tacos. I was with my friend Ben from SAP, and then it's like talking about collaborations, partnerships, and stuff. if that wasn't good enough of a conversation, at the end I'm like, hey man, what are you doing tomorrow? Like which houses are you gonna see? He's like, yeah man, I'm gonna go to church. I'm like, okay, cool man. I was actually thinking about going to church. I try to go to church even though we're traveling or whatever, on a Sunday morning. There's usually nothing much happening when you're traveling for a conference. Sunday mornings usually pretty dead, because Saturday nights are usually like the big event party. And so, my Saturday morning was pretty late. Nothing was really happening till about 11 a.m. Or noonish. And so, like, hey, man, where is it? So he gave me the address and met him at church. And so that was my Sunday morning. Got to go to service at the Austin Trinity Church, I think it's called. Great message. Nice church. Very cool community. So that's my Sunday morning. And then, then more meetings, more houses and networking events and things like that. And then, and then what did we do? And then that was it. Sunday night, shut it down, packed, and then early Monday morning, flew back home. So that was my South by Southwest experience. It's a long sort of ramble on that. But all that to say, I really did enjoy my time in Austin, Texas. I definitely want to go back next year. I think it's well worth it. I will be back in May for that. Next month, though, in April, I believe I'm going to be in Los Angeles for a conference down there. So if you're in LA, and I might also be in Las Vegas for NAB. So if you're in Las Vegas or LA, reach out to me, send me a message. Let me know if you're not from there, either of those cities. Man, I would love to know who I should be connecting with. Somebody there that that I should connect with. If they're a creator, content creator, influencer, they're involved in the creator economy industry, in any way, any form or fashion. They're a founder. They're working in on the team, on the marketing side or product side or growth side. They're a talent manager. Let me know. I'd love to, please make an introduction. I would be very grateful for that. I just really love introductions and meeting new people. And other than that, I'm back home for a little bit, heads down, lots of strategy happening. Just hired a community manager, so you'll hear more about that from the Uscreen side of things. She's starting at the end of the month, and so I'll share some more updates on that once she's officially started. And so super excited for that new chapter. We got some big plans for community. And my channel is growing, continues to grow. I've been, batch recorded a bunch of reels, so you'll see some more reels and shorts happening on my channel. And still, of course, I'm not discounting, I'm not closing down my long form content. I am bullish on short form content, but I'm not going 100% all in on short form and completely just stopping on long form content. I enjoyed the long form content. As you can tell, this podcast episode is already over 22 minutes long, so you'll see this, but you also see the tutorials as well and product type videos, because I feel like that is really important. I think I like sharing those things. I like to make complex things simple and show that on video for different creators, and so that's important. But yeah, I am definitely uploading a lot more long short form content though, and also uploading that short form content reels on Instagram. So quick tips on Instagram, and also like mini vlogs. I've been just enjoying those, whether or not reels is like not a moneymaker for me at all. I'm not in the creator fund or anything like that, but it's really good awareness. I find people DMing me and finding my YouTube channel through it. And it's just a cool place as well, just for my personal, for memories to put up videos and things like that. And then on the personal side, I know that Justine actually has been editing some of our old, I would say older travel videos. So hopefully you guys will see some newer videos being uploaded to our family vlog channel. So that might be really cool for you guys to see. Let me know if you're interested. I'll send the link to you guys. But yeah, other than that, that is really it. Thank you for hanging out with me for the last bunch of minutes here. If you have any questions, if you have any feedback, man, let me know. Love that, right? I love getting that. So, yeah, really, truthfully, send me a DM on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Comment on any video on my YouTube channel. I'll see it. I watch the comments on YouTube. And yeah, with that, thank you for hanging out with me. God bless you guys. Hope you guys are doing really well. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.